Hey, badass. I ain't seen you in a while. Good to see you. Hey, April. I'm sorry about that, y'all. It was some music when I first got started and I forgot to unmute. Thank you, badass. Thank you, April. Can you guys hear me now? Okay, thank you. How you been? Haven't seen you in a while. I hope all is good with you and your family. April said, hey there, badass. Happy Tuesday, y'all. Tuesday, Tuesday is winding down. So y'all know what that means. Listen, y'all. Does it seem like time is just flying by? I'm talking about not only just flying, but just like at super speed. Like the pace at which time is flying is like, wow, extraordinarily fast. Just been super busy and down here in Daytona on vacation. You're on vacation. That's good. That's good. Guys, I hope that this wind, I know how the phone is, when it starts slamming against the microphone, when the wind starts to slam against the microphone. So that just means we got to walk and talk loud, right? We just got to walk and talk loud. Talk loudly, talk louder. Just came back from family reunion in Kentucky. Okay, did you do any videos, April? Because I haven't gotten any notifications. I'm going to come check it out. I'm going to come check your channel out, whether you've done any on your vacation or not. I know I got like a couple of notifications from you, like maybe last week, early last week. So I know, April, look, I know when you be partying. April, when you have a good time, you be sharing it. So I'm going to come look. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Old badass is down there in Daytona. April just got back from a family reunion. Listen, it's that time of the year, y'all. It's that time of the year. Get together with family and friends. Family, friends, neighbors, associates. Like, during this time of the year, it's easy to get outside with the neighbors and have a little barbecue, grill out a little bit, grill out and have a little barbecue. Or just grill, because everybody doesn't like barbecue per se, right? A nice write-up. I hear you, badass. He said, yes, ma'am, came here on vacation and upgraded okay, I was just about to ask you about it. Oceanfront Airbnb, new king-size bed, and queen sleeper sofa. That's what I'm talking about. I was just about to ask you about your rental property. So that's good. It's nice to see, nice to know that people have nice things, can still acquire and have nice things. Because y'all know this economy that we're in right now, I won't even say that it's so much the economy right at this minute, but in anticipation of the tariffs, some places have gone up on some things due to the tariffs that are in place. But in anticipation to the tariffs that may go into effect, like I think he said 90 days, things are already going up. And of course, when they do go into effect, if they don't negotiate something or work something out, things will go up again. So listen, if you have the money, do your best to save what you can and then still enjoy yourself. To be honest, the economy doesn't affect me. See, that's what I'm talking about. Some people, it may not bother them for whatever reason, but like generally speaking, it's gonna affect a lot of people. Cause even the businesses, even the corporations are saying we can thank those tariffs for the upcoming holiday prices. So the inflation is already, things go up anyway, right? So when they have an excuse or a reason to go up, things go up. And then sometimes certain actions cause things to go up. So depending on your family situation, your financial situation, it can hit you harder than it hit other people. And some people, maybe not so much. So if you're somebody who it won't affect so much, that's a good thing. But if you're somebody who it will, and there are a lot of us who it will, it's not a good thing. By the grace of God, I have been truly blessed, paid cash for the condo, so it's all good. Okay, I got you. Yep, that's the grace of God. You're absolutely right, badass, by the grace of God. Yep, because, you know, a lot of people don't want to admit it because it's his fault. It is his fault. But all you can do, all you can do at this point, because it is what it is. Hi, how you doing? All you can do at this point, because it is what it is just try your best to get by the best way that you can. You know, the best way that you can. Some people are blessed to have financial resources. Some people are blessed to have money, right? And some people are blessed to have other resources that equate to money, you know? And some people are blessed with the ability or the potential to make, regardless of the economic circumstances of the nation, okay? Stock here have been super good, see? And a lot of the times depends on what you have invested in or what you have been able to afford to invest in. Because I know a lot of times when people are talking amongst themselves or each other, a lot of times they tell people, you should do this or you should have done this. Let me tell y'all something. Some people are literally what they call check to check. Okay? And they have family, they have themselves, they have bills, they have those expenses that kind of just pop up out of the blue sometimes. So, no, they have not invested because they couldn't afford to. Now, I've heard some people say, well, if you make any amount of money, you can invest some. Look, some people barely have any money in a savings account. And that's another whole topic because a lot of people don't believe in savings accounts through the bank, right? So that's a whole other topic. And you have to be very wise about what you invest in and what you purchase. If you can, if you just get a little extra money sometimes, even if it's only $10, $5, put it on something. Put it on some type of stock. Put it somewhere. And just hope for it to skyrocket. Y'all know you gotta be careful of the words you use, even if you're just having general conversation. And you know, the app can kind of take words out of context. So you gotta just try and put it on something good. And hopefully, hey, you never know, it could skyrocket. Hopefully, it can skyrocket. And even if it doesn't skyrocket, y'all listen to those birds. Listen to our birds, okay? Listen to our birds. Of course, they're God's birds, but they're here on earth with us. I don't think he minds us saying, listen to our birds, okay? He knows that they're his. We're his. Listen to the sound of the birds singing, chirping, talking, communicating with each other. And maybe not even communicating, but just, you know, singing a happy song, hopefully. Singing a happy song. We know why the free bird sings, just as we know why the cage bird sings. Of course, look at the legs move. Watch the legs move. Watch the legs move. Watch the legs and feet move. Watch the legs and feet move. Hopefully that'll motivate you to get up and move your legs, move your feet, move your arms, move that waist. Put a little pep in your step, one step at a time, one foot in front of the other, right? Work that body, work that body. Make sure you don't hurt your body, okay? Work your body, don't overexert your body. Hey, Lawrence. Lawrence says, good evening. So I got April, Badass, and Lawrence have come through. Thank you, guys. April and Badass, a couple of my day ones from way back. I'm being nosy, y'all. You can go this. Thank you guys for coming through. And of course, my brother Lawrence for coming through here. I appreciate each and every one of you guys the same, whether you've been here for years with me or a day. I appreciate you all the same. I'm blessed to have you come by and stop through and have some conversation. Badass says, oh yeah, Lines, I'm 46. My wife and I are on the same page about saving, investing, and having a nest. Right. Having a nest egg. We would love to fully retire at the age of 55. Come on. Wouldn't that be great? That would be great, Badass. Guess what? You're on the way to being able to do just that. Lawrence says, what's up, April and Badass? Lawrence has entered the live, you guys. Welcome, Lawrence. Welcome, Lawrence. I'm moderator, supporter, subscriber. Badass and April are content creators. And as you guys know, my saying, I appreciate you all. Whether you are a subscriber, content creator, of course, moderator, or just somebody scrolling through. Over here, if you're a good troll, you can be a good troll and come on through, okay? As long as you're a good troll. Y'all know we don't like bad trolls, right? I tell y'all all the time, if those bad trolls could get monetized, they'd make more money than us, okay? They'd make more money than the content creators. And listen, the content creators, unless you're like bank, you're not making that much. But content creators will backslide, backstab, step on fellow content creators just to get 70% of a dollar, y'all. 70% of a dollar. Or just to say, I'm monetized. They do it. I see it all the time. Lawrence laughing. Badass says, I don't want to work for someone until I get to retirement age. I feel you, even though I work for my uncle. Well, see, a lot of times working for the family, a lot of times people say, oh, it's problems when you work for the family. Not really. Not really. If you go there with the intentions of being grateful to work for family and not expecting to be able to get over on family, it can be good. It can be good. So a lot of times people go work for family because they feel like it's going to be easy. They're going to get to do what they want to do, take off when they want to take off. No, when you go work for family, though there may be some perks, of course, enjoy the perks, but also respect your family. You got to respect your family. And a lot of times, people don't understand what that means. They don't understand what that means. They feel like respect is them going to work. And once they're there for a while, they can kind of just do what they want to do because it's family, right? No, when you go work for family, the biggest family organizations, Walmart started out like family, right? Do you think if the family was lax and didn't have a good work ethic that they could have become what they are today? Hey, Retirement Days, Comfort Foods and more. Hey, Betty, welcome into the live. Do you think that they could have become what they are today? No. Now, does that mean every member of the family does what they're supposed to do? No. But it is good, like, Badass says he works for his uncle. It is good to be able to work for family and then be able to have a little bit of leeway. But at the same time, you got to know that if you work respectfully and do what you're supposed to do, it just makes it easier for the whole family. It makes it easier for the whole family. Lauren says, welcome in, Retirement Days. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Got 2 moderators in the building. I appreciate y'all for coming in. So, today is Tuesday, y'all. So, tomorrow, the middle of the week, the middle of the week already. So what y'all think about that? The middle of the week already. Look, I know, listen, I was just saying at the beginning of the live how time flies. I don't know, I may have been muted then, but I was talking about how time flies so fast. Y'all, like, so fast. So fast. It's May. So June will be middle of the year. June will be mid-year. Doesn't it feel like we were just saying Happy New Year? Does it not feel like we were just saying Happy New Year, y'all? Happy New Year. So imagine, we were just saying Happy New Year, right? So that means MLK Day has gone by, President's Day, Valentine's Day, Black History Month, St. Patrick's Day. Most people have gone on spring break. They're about to get ready to go on summer break. And Memorial Day is coming up. Is it next week? Is that next week for Memorial Day? Thank you guys for the hearts. I appreciate you. Let me put it on all messages. I want to make sure I can see. Right, yeah. Yep. What this Badass says, Lions, my wife has those same shoes. They were expensive. Heck yeah. Let me tell you something, Badass. These Hokas are expensive. That being said, they're probably the only shoes that I will spend that much money on like that. Unless a family member or something of mine start to make shoes, like, that's probably the most I will spend on shoes, or unless they were really, really, really great. Now, I said that, but y'all are probably thinking, well, if they're that expensive, what made you spend the money on them? Well, because something just told me that they would live up to the hype. Something just told me they would live up to the hype. Yep, like 160. Some go up to as much as 175. Yep, that's absolutely right, Badass. But let me tell you, they're worth every penny. Does she like them? I bet she likes them. If you're gonna walk, especially if you walk a lot, if you're a teacher, if you're a nurse, a doctor, somebody who's on their feet a lot, if you work at a plant and you don't have to wear steel-toed shoes, they're the best shoes to have. I think Hokas are the best shoes to have. Now, that being said, you guys have known for years, I've told you that New Balance are my favorite shoe, right? And they are. But that's probably because back in the day, nobody really wanted to buy New Balance. It was like Nike this, Nike that, other brands too. But people just did not realize how good New Balance shoes, they're the bomb. They are the bomb. Now, I would get a good Nike walking shoe, running shoe. They're great. But just, a lot of times, when I say back in the day, people really weren't focused on exercising or walking a lot. And if they did do it, they were walking just whatever tennis shoes they had. But I learned that New Balance, that was the number one shoe for me. And it still is. I still like them. I don't know if it's out of loyalty. I put them in number one. But New Balance don't cost as much as these. And honestly, fit, feel, and for what you need, I can't lie, Hoka's are my number one shoe. And I think I kind of flipped it. It may just be any given day. New Balance could be number two, whereas New Balance was number one, period. And the reason I say that too is because it seems a little bit harder to find the New Balance that I grew to love. Because they're trying to like keep up with looks and style and stuff like that. So you even have, like I have some Skechers. I have a pair of Skechers. A couple of years ago, about 3 years ago, you guys knew I was walking in FUBU. And they were like, had a good memory foam. The arch support was great. So a lot of shoes are, coming up. They're rising to the task when it comes to like walking shoes and running shoes. But Hoka, those are the shoes. They're the ones. Lions, yes, she also has a pair of custom fitted New Balance that cost, yeah, I'm telling you, New Balance, that's why I say I kind of like go back and forth, because New Balance was always my favorite. And honestly, it still is. But I can find a pair of Hoka that compares, or sometimes they're a little bit better. They're a little bit better. And you're supposed to change out your shoes every 3 to 6 months, just depending on how much you walk, or every 300 to 500 miles. These Hokas, once you've walked about 3 to 500 miles, you don't necessarily have to just change them out. Just get you another cheaper pair that's like the Skechers now that they're making. They're pretty decent. And you can just wear those a couple of days out of the week, and then your Hokas kind of cut down on it and make them last a little bit longer. But if you walk, and you really walk, after about 500 miles, they say change shoes. Let me tell you, Hokas last longer. They last longer. Matter of fact, Lions, the shoes almost look the same. Oh, you mean her custom fitted New Balance and the Hokas? Do they almost look the same? New Balance got to step their game up. They got to step their game up, because I'm telling you, when Hokas didn't come to play, they did not come to play. They didn't come to play. And New Balance is probably like, hold up, wait a minute. We were the crown jewel. But the thing about New Balance is that they were the crown jewel that a lot of people didn't know about. Like, a lot of people say that they like New Balance. Especially people who exercise, like I said, walk a lot, run a lot, jog and stuff like that. Or work, depending on your work, you're a teacher, doctor, nurse, in the healthcare field. So a lot of people been on the New Balance thing. They've been onto it. But some people are just now getting on that New Balance kick. But the thing about it is, or I won't say that they're just getting onto it, but maybe they got onto it like maybe about 5 years ago. But in the past 5 years or so, seems like New Balance is focused on, we're doing this hill, y'all. We're doing this hill, but we're doing this hill and we're going to keep walking and talking, okay? Okay? So they got on the New Balance kick maybe about 5 years ago. It seemed like once everybody kind of started realizing, oh, this is what we've been missing out on, then New Balance started going for the look, being cute. And I'm like, no, y'all need to stick to what you've been doing. I guess I feel like if they bring you more colors, flashy colors, the highlight colors, that they could sell more. But listen, they've been making a killing. That's why they're still around. New Balance been around for a long time. So they could just stick to what they're doing. Improve, but don't focus so much on the outer look as far as like being cute. And if you're going to do that, that's fine. But don't neglect the running shoe, the walking shoe. Keep it the same or make it better. You think the Hokas are better? I think the reason I think that they're better is I do know that they offer the variety is awesome. The variety of shoes that Hoka offers It is awesome. New Balance, they offer a variety of walking shoes and running shoes, but Hoka's, like as far as the options available, they're over the top. They're too expensive for me. I'd rather spend money on race car parts. You rather spend money on race car parts? Because that's your thing. That's your love. That's your passion. You know, that's your fun. So, yeah. But listen, badass. All you got to do is get you one good pair. One or two good pair. Get you one. And if your exercise, if your cardio is not really working, but like maybe the treadmill, the bicycle, then they'll last even longer. They'll last even longer. So I'm telling you, the $160 investment, it's well worth it. It's well worth it. It is. It I think it's well worth it. I think have you ever tried on a pair, badass? Have you ever tried them on? Badass says nope. I change work shoes you change work shoes every 3 months. Like what about like your workout shoes when you exercise, when you're doing cardio? Do you walk? Do you go to the gym for your cardio? Because if you go to the gym, they will last longer than that. They could last all year. And if you use another pair of shoes and you alternate, they can last all year. Or at least about 9 months. At least about 9 months. So if you again, if you use another pair of shoes to alternate, and definitely if you use 3 pair, they could last. If you have 3 pair like the Hoka's and 2 other pair, they'll last a year. As long as you alternate sometimes. Yep, they'll last like a year. But if you can't get the Hoka's, guess what? That's okay too. If you can't get Hoka's, get you 2 pair of Skechers, a pair of New Balance and a pair of Skechers. Something like that. Something like that, and that'll work. That'll work. Because again, you're supposed to change about every 300 to 500 miles or every 3 to 6 months, depending on how much you walk or run, jog. So if you got 2 pair of anything else, you should probably end up buying shoes for exercise about twice a year. I've got Air Max. Okay, Puma running shoes. Yeah, Puma does have good running shoes. Y'all look at here. I'm glad I came back this way. Tell me why I dropped my charger. My charging cord. Puma does. They have because I used to wear Puma. I used to walk in Puma because they make shoes now for walking too. So Puma does have a good shoe. Air Max is good. But it's somebody else dropped their charger too, but that one's messed up. But it's something about Hoka's that I found in them that I haven't found in other shoes. And I've had all of them, like Pumas, Air Max, Skechers, Nike walking shoes, crosswalks. I had of course, New Balance. And then I've just had sometimes you can just find a cheap pair of shoes that are good for walking temporarily. Sometimes you can just find a cheap pair. I don't advise that though. I don't advise walking in cheap shoes. If you don't feel it then, you will feel it. I don't advise walking in cheap shoes. Walmart shoes, no shade to Walmart. Target. If you've got to get shoes from there, make sure that you change them out. Definitely change those out if you walk a lot after about 2 to 3 months. Because I understand shoes are expensive. Shoes are expensive. But you definitely need to change them out every, I'll say minimum 3 months. Because sometimes you can find a cheap shoe that's really good. If it has a good memory foam, again, if it has great arch support, sometimes you can find a cheap shoe that lasts about a good 3 months if you're walking daily. And at that point, if you can't afford it, get a pair of inserts, and that can probably take you another month or two. But don't put inserts in and think that that's supposed to take you for, another 6 or 7 months in those shoes. If you put inserts in, now if you put inserts in Hokas or something like that, yeah, of course, longer. But if you put inserts in a pair of cheap shoes, it'll end up like you're just walking on the insert. And that defeats the purpose of the insert, right? I've got nice sneakers that are too good for work. Listen, now you already know Lawrence. Not Lawrence, I'm thinking about Lawrence. I was about to say, where is Lawrence? He's probably gone. But badass, when they too good to work in, now you already know. Uh-oh, y'all saw my fingernails. When they're too good to work in, of course, don't mess up those good shoes. Not for work. For now I'm not gonna lie, for work I have another pair of Hokas. You're still here, Lawrence. Thank you for being here. You were on my mind, and I was talking to Badass about those shoes, and I called your name. But yeah, I have like a lavender pair for work. Now I will say this about Hokas too. Hokas came out with a well-built shoe that was also nice to look at. They were well built and they were nice to look at. So they didn't have to do like New Balance. New Balance, their shoes were always kind of tailored and structured for walking and running. And then I guess to kind of, compete or continue to have their place, they started to make shoes that look cute. And I like the cute New Balances with the different colors. Like I said, like the highlight colors and just a variety of colors that they have now. But for a minute, it seemed almost as if they kind of took a step back. But it wasn't that they took a step back. I just started seeing so many other options. Yeah, I'm spoiled, Lawrence. Lawrence said spoiled you are. What about, yeah, those are good shoes as well. The what is it, Asics? Yep, I know people that like those. They've been around for a long time. I've had a pair of Asics before, but when it comes to the Asics, at one point it would be Asics, New Balance, or what's the other one? Is it Saucony? Something like that, Sauncey or something like that, or Cony, Saucony, something like that. I can never pronounce them because I don't buy them that often. I just kind of see them. Those are pretty good shoes too. Those are pretty good shoes as well. So what type of shoe do you like, Lawrence? Is that what you like, the Asics? Because those are good shoes. Usually anything with a good, good shock absorption, as long as it's just not hard and, bulky. Sometimes they can be kind of hard and bulky. Saucony, yeah, okay, that's it. And Brooks. Now, Brooks, I've heard of Brooks. I have never tried Brooks. I have friends that wear Brooks, and I have friends that wear Clouds. So pretty much everybody I know right now, we're wearing Hokas, Clouds, Brooks. See, look at there, New Balance. See that badass? Lawrence is currently wearing New Balance. I told y'all, it's something about that New Balance. So I'm just gonna go and say it, Hokas. New Balance is my favorite shoe. Okay. All right. I'm about loyalty too. But I gotta be honest, New Balance. Y'all, Hoka's just a step ahead of you. They're a step ahead of you. Cause they came out with the nice fit, good feel for different types of feet. Cause some people have flat feet. Some people have low arches, not maybe so much as that they're flat feet, but their arch is kind of low. Some people have high arches. That heel to toe drop. You have to pay attention to your heel to toe drop. See, we be into looking in the shoes around here. You gotta know about your heel to toe drop. What do you need as far as your measurements? Not just the size and making sure it fits well, but according to the work that you do, according to the feet how your feet are made, and Hoka's seem to address. They have a shoe to address each one of those. Lauren says, Hoka, yes, it is. I love them. Hoka was $250 in my size 14 high arch. Yeah, and that's another thing. They usually run like maybe 160 is average. Sometimes you can find them on sale. When I got these, they were on sale. They marked them down and the sale is like $15, like $140, $145. They were like $145. So, and every now and again you can find a sale where they're like $100, but it depends on the type of Hoka that it is. And like you said, Lawrence, a Hoka high arch, size 14, that price sounds about right. In fact, that price sounds right. It is right. So it just depends on what you need in the Hoka. It depends on your feet and what you'll be doing when you have them on. So we're going uphill, you guys. It's about the incline, but hey, a little slight slope can be an incline. We want to put in work and hit heels, okay? Okay? If we can, when we can, we want to hit heels. We want true incline. Slopes are good. You got to start where you are. Remember, professional disclaimer, do not do anything you hear me say or do. See me do over here in Lion's Pride. If you do, you do so at your own risk. We don't do much on camera, right? I don't know what kind of horn that is. I guess it's his horn. We don't do much on camera. We do a few shorts. I'm mostly a shorts channel. You guys know that I'm mostly a shorts channel. So we do a little bit on the shorts. Lightweight, resistance, exercises. Because we've got to keep those muscles toned, and we've got to, importantly, keep those muscles as strong as we can. And that allows us to be able to do our cardio longer, right? Right. So we do light weights, lightweight resistance. Please, at minimum, bare minimum on that weight, twice a week. But over here in Lion's Pride, I go 4 to 5 days a week. Unless it's a busy week and we got to do 3, okay? With your cardio, aerobic activity, if you look, by the grace of God, you walk every day, right? Get your cardio in every day. But if you don't want to do it every day, that's fine. Strive for 5. That way, if you don't do 5, you miss a day or 2, you've at least done 3. And if you're just starting, strive for 3. So if you miss a day or 2, at least you've done 1. And doing 1 is good if you haven't been doing any at all, okay? Doing 1 is good if you haven't done any at all. So just keep moving. Once you start, keep moving. I'm not here to motivate grown folks, okay? Adults. But what I do like doing is encouraging you, okay? Look to God for motivation. Look within for motivation. Look to the people that you know and love, who love you, who you can reach out and touch, who you can just pick up the phone and they know you're good, you're bad, you're pretty, you're ugly, your ups and downs. People who truly love you. When it comes to anything in life, exercise, making decisions, look to those people to motivate you, right? What I like doing is motivating young people and children And more importantly, when it comes to full-grown adults, I like encouraging. Motivating and encouraging are synonymous. But to me, there is a slight difference. I feel like if you got to motivate somebody, you got to pull them up, push them, and that's okay. You can motivate a stranger, but I don't feel like that's I just don't feel like that's my thing to do. I want to motivate people who have gotten started and maybe get a little discouraged because they're not doing what they want to do. They're not seeing the results they want to see. So I like to encourage them to continue. I like encouraging people to continue. You started, there's no reason to stop unless there is a reason to stop. Get me? So there was music, y'all. Sorry about that. So I like, though they're synonymous, I've learned through this app that I'm not trying to motivate anybody. Because people, once you start to motivate them, not all, but I found at least 3 or 4 that became obsessive. So I'm like, look, I ain't giving you no motivation to do nothing. Do what you want to do. But to anybody who needs encouragement, they haven't been able to get that weight down. They haven't been able to start their exercise journey the way they want to, like they've started, but they're just not. They want to do 3 days and they're still doing 1 day. Every now and again, they'll do 2 days a week. I want to encourage them because they don't need motivation. They are motivated. They're doing more than they were, which was nothing. So I want to encourage them. I want to encourage them. Let's see. I'm gonna slow down a little bit because it's been 45 minutes and I can look at the comments a little bit better. We got traffic, y'all, so we're not just gonna walk in place. Y'all believe I heard somebody say we got traffic, we're gonna walk in place. I'm like, lady, please. We're gonna march. We're marching, pulling those knees up toward the sky. Okay, working those hip flexors, those knees. So we keep moving though we stopped. Get it? We keep moving though we stopped. So keep moving, keep going, keep pushing, and keep being you. So though we stopped, we kept moving, right? Let's see, I ruptured my Achilles. I had surgery July 13, 2024. Now I just want whatever I can fit. It's been a journey trying to get back. Listen, so how long was your therapy, Lawrence? How long was your therapy? Y'all know you gotta keep your head on a swivel, okay? You gotta keep your head on a swivel when it gets dark, right? It's not quite dark, but it's almost dark. So I can see where I need to be. So I'm not far off or anything like that. They come around here with all this music. I keep having to mute. Therapy was 7 months. Okay, do you feel like that was enough? Or do you feel like the people who did your therapy, who you did your therapy with, do you feel like they were good therapists? And do you feel like the difference? Do you feel like when you started to when you finished, do you feel like therapy was effective? Were they good? Did it work for you? Right. It'll never be as strong as it was. And that's like with athletes. A lot of times, if they have, but with athletes, depending on the injury, sometimes they can get back to where they were. But, just average lay people, sometimes they can too, depending on the injury. But some injuries, that's true. It may get back to maybe 90%, 95 even, maybe 80%, and sometimes, some cases 70, 75. right? But think of it this way. Even if it got to 70%, 75, try your best to work with that. At least it's over 50, you know? They were good. That's good. That's good. That's good. And a lot of times, like I talk to a lot of football players and some basketball players. I talk to gymnasts. I work with them. And they know too, certain injuries, they may not get back to 100%. But I've seen some who look like they got right back there and were better. Like they improved. But what a lot of them tell me, some have no fear. They want the therapy, they're into it. They just want to get that therapy so they can get back on the field, get back on the court, get back, on the mats in the gym, the gymnasts. So the soccer players, whoever it is, they just want to get back to work. They want to get back to competition. So they have no fear. Others say that the fear kind of hinders them. They don't want to re-injure it. So it's almost like they want to do therapy, because they're willing to do the therapy. They want to do the therapy and they want to get back into action, but they don't want to re-injure. So they're a little bit fearful. So after fully recovering, those who were fearful to begin the therapy, they often say that you have to let that fear go, and I think that you have to let that fear go. And I think therapists push, preach, and teach that. Try to let the fear go. If you're doing something that's uncomfortable, that you feel any discomfort, slow down and or stop. Slow down and or stop. But try to let the fear go. And sometimes I think everybody, if they've had an injury that they're rehabbing, they're trying to recuperate, has a little bit of fear. But some people maybe a little bit more than others. So try to let it go as much as you can. Because sometimes the fear, they say, is what puts you at more risk. That's why I often say, stop trying to compete where you don't compare. People on the app, when they see people doing exercises or exercising, they'll get right out there and try to keep up and do everything that you do, and they don't know your history. Don't know if you're an athlete, if you're a trainer, a personal trainer, or what you did in the past. Don't know any injuries you may have had. Don't know what your rehab history is, and they'll get right out there and try to compete where they don't compare. See, we don't know each other like that. So you want to work your body, but you don't want to what? Hurt your body. You want to work your body, but you don't want to hurt your body. Let's see. I am 53 years old. I am at maybe 65%. That's good. That's good. See, I'm telling you, you're over 50. You're over 50%. So, and even for those who can't get over 50%, listen, that's okay. Because at the point of the injury, what were you, maybe like 0 to 10%? So even getting to 40% is an accomplishment. 50% is a great accomplishment. Over 50, that's really good. That's really good. That's really good. So again, work your body. Make sure you don't hurt your body. Before starting, pausing, stopping, changing, restructuring any exercise plan, routine, or regimen, always contact and talk with your primary healthcare provider, whether that be your primary doctor, your CRNP, your certified registered nurse practitioner, your PA, your physician's assistant. If you've had injuries in the past, you have a relationship now with a physical therapist and an occupational therapist, probably. Talk with them, okay, about any changes. As far as if you haven't been doing it a while, you want to restart, or you want to slow down, you want to take a break, or you want to end your program. Talk with them. I don't know any healthcare provider that's going to tell you not to exercise, okay? Speak with them, converse with them, talk with them. Leave the lines of communication open between you and them, and leave the lines of communication open between your healthcare providers. They're all together your team. I always say they're the cell, they're an atom, you're the nucleus, right? So you have to make sure that the lines of communication are open between you and them, and you have to make sure that the lines of communication are open between them, because your therapist may say to do this, and you want to trust your therapist, but you may be afraid. There's nothing wrong with talking to your doctor. They sent you to the therapist. You know, the doctor may agree with you and say, yeah, just slow that down. We're going to wait on that. Or they may agree with the therapist. Then they can talk. Keep the lines of communication open, right? You are your biggest advocate. You are your biggest advocate. So just make sure that those lines of communication are open, and not just with, like I said, your doctor, nurse practitioner, physician's assistant, physical therapist, occupational therapist, your psychologist, your psychiatrist, right? For a lot of people, it's all in the diet, whether you're just regular exercise, whether you're someone who you're trying to recover with an injury, your nutritionist, your dietitian, they all need to be on the same page, right? You are your biggest advocate. So if you go to someone new, always make sure that your primary care doctor knows for sure. Because say if you go, your specialty doctors, you know, make sure that your specialty doctors know if you go to the doctor for any special reasons, and that your primary care doctor know. If you don't know, make sure that anybody else knows, you need to make sure those two know. Your primary care doctor and your specialty doctor. Because they will definitely, you know, be like, well, hold on. I don't want you to do this just yet. Not to say that you won't ever be able to do it, but maybe they want you to slow down, pump the brakes, take it a little slowly, a little bit slower than you're doing, than they're ready, you know, than the therapist wants. And then you get back into it, okay? Let's see, 10 weeks in the cast, 8 weeks walking boot, then therapy for 7 months. I got hurt at work. Okay, I got you. That's pretty much how it goes. That's pretty much how it goes. Depending on the injury and how severe it is, just what Lawrence put in the chat, that's about how it goes. Sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more. It's person dependent. So a lot of times we'll hear someone say, oh, she had to wear it that long? They'll say they only wore their boot for 4 weeks. Well, you may not have the injury that he or she had, you know? On top of other things, you never know why a person has to wear a boot longer than you did, or you have to wear a boot longer than someone else. It's person dependent. So just keep those lines of communication open. And look, it's okay. Like, that's why I say over here, this channel is a shorts channel. When we do these walk and talks, let's walk and talk. That's what it's about. Just let's have a conversation. We don't professionally, medically, or clinically assess anyone, diagnose, telediagnose, since we're mostly mobile, most of us, treat or evaluate anyone. We drop nuggets about things that we know, that we may know about others' experiences. I do that, the chat does that, and we drop those nuggets. You guys, if you catch the replay, the people in the live, you get those nuggets, you do your research, and you talk to your doctor. Because the nuggets that we drop may not apply to you, or they may not apply to you in the way that they apply to the person we knew that we're telling you about, or the situations that we know of, okay? Always, always, always consult and talk with, converse with, communicate with, have dialogue with your primary healthcare provider, your healthcare team. None weight bearing for 3 months. Woo, see? It can be a lot. It can be a lot. And we talk about all the technology that athletes have when it comes to medicine. You know, I think it used to take about a year for them to recover from torn ACL or something like that. MCL or ACL, maybe take a year. Now, it's like 9 months. Depending on the athlete, 7 or so, 6 or 7. But to be completely healed, that's why when you see football players get those type of injuries, it's like, like it's like so annoying to them because they know which injuries tend to take 12 months, 9 months, or 6 months. But again, with the technology and medical knowledge that's available today, they have the money, they have the access to that. It may take an average person still 9 months to a year, maybe 15 months. But those athletes have access to that. So, they can get back, if it's football season, like say October, by April, they're probably doing some walkthroughs. After they've had surgery, they're probably doing some walkthroughs. By next football season, they're ready. So it's person dependent. Don't focus on what somebody else did or how they went through. If you have to do something, don't focus on what somebody else did. And if you have to do something, or if you know someone who has to do something, don't make them feel like they're behind because the way you had to do it was differently, right? It's person dependent. So you guys, it's almost been an hour. Okay, we're going to go over those R words. Release, relax, release the things that bother you that don't mean you any good as much as you can. Okay, God will do the rest. Release, relax, release what you can, relate to what you can. Remember who you are. Remember things that you used to do that helped you mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually that maybe you used to do and you haven't done in a while. Revisit those things. Okay? Reevaluate who you are, what you used to do, what you're doing currently, and what you want to do. Okay? Restore, replenish. Okay? Fill your cup before it gets empty. Replenish that cup. Replenish your heart, mind, body, and soul. Okay? React to things that need to be reacted to. Don't react to things that don't need to be reacted to. Okay? Okay? Restore, reconstruct, right? So I think I said remember who you are. Revisit some of the things you did. All right? When I say release, sometimes you got to release some things, some people, some situations, right? Refocus, reset, and restart. And remember, SELF, self-love, self-motivation. Motivate yourself. Self-dedication, self-commitment, self-esteem, self-control, self-evaluate. Right? My surgeon told me to stay off YouTube. I am the surgeon. Okay, and Lawrence, that right there is exactly what I'm talking about. See, he told you stay off of YouTube. Now I'm going to tell you, there are some doctors and some therapists and nurses and physical therapists, occupational therapists, nutritionists, dietitians. They are great on here, but that is like educational purposes only. Okay. That's why I say over here we do not medically, professionally, clinically, because each person is different. And what they're saying may be okay for the general population, but each person is different. So when you see those things on YouTube, they're nuggets, like I said, we drop nuggets. I don't go into too much detail medically, fitness-wise, because you never know who's going to hear the message, and they may change their whole routine based on what you're saying. Now, some people will say, well, that's their fault. They're adults, they're grown, they know not to do that. But you just have to remember that sometimes people are not in a good space or place mentally, or they're trying their best to do whatever can work for them. So they're going to try things. We've all tried things and we really weren't sure that they would work, right? But we were hoping that they would. And so that's why I used to always get annoyed when I say certain women will leave my chat and go and try to repeat the things that I said, and they don't know what they're talking about. Haven't been formally educated in the area, in the field. I have been, so I know not to go into too much detail or too in depth. And somebody may come on here right now and ask me a question about fitness or medical. I'm gonna keep it just as broad and general as possible, because you ain't getting my book sense, my medical sense, my clinical sense, and then going back trying to regurgitate it or saying that I told you to do something. If you're someone who's looking for something, what I do want you to do is do like the Copyright 107 says: educational, informational, entertainment purposes only. We want to drop nuggets, give you things to research, to think about, but most importantly, consult with your doctor about. Consult with your doctor about, not to make changes on your own. Most importantly, you do need to listen to how your body feels. Listen, get it? Listen. Put those two sentences together. Listen to how your body feels and let your doctor know about that. Right? Let your healthcare team know about that. Your psychologist, your psychiatrist, whoever you need to talk to, listen to how your body feels. Okay? And that's professional disclaimer. Because you got people that's putting up disclaimers now. Just out of the blue, just throwing up disclaimers. What you really disclaiming? What are you really disclaiming? Because people are just dropping the information. A lot of information that non-professionals are dropping. All you got to do is Google it. It'll come to the top. Something will come to the top of the search all the way down to the bottom. A lot of times the good information is in the middle of the search, not the top. Sometimes it's at the bottom because like I tell people all the time, some people pay to be at the top of the Google search. All right? Because they want you to click on them. They want to be the first thing that you see so that you'll click on them. My surgeon said, I am who the doctor come to do their surgery. Okay, these Rolexes and Bentleys cost me. Yeah. You know, each person has their area of expertise. You have the doctors, but some doctors do both. Some doctors are also surgeons, or they can do certain procedures. And then sometimes the doctor tells you which surgeon you need to see because the doctor hasn't been trained in surgery. So, yep. And sometimes the surgeon will tell you to consult with the doctor. Because like he said, yeah, doctors come to surgeons to do surgery. But sometimes once you get so high or you go into a certain area, surgeons know how to use those tools. They know what to do. But they oftentimes don't really know, the doctors keep you on track. So a lot of times surgeons have their place. They're going to fix what they can fix when it needs to be fixed. And sometimes they get in there and they may say, okay, got it done. Sometimes they may say, they just came. Sometimes they may say, I don't know if I need to do it right now. But they're still going to tell you, look at that frog, y'all. They're still going to tell you that they do their thing and doctors do their thing. Can y'all see that frog? I don't want to jump up. I want to catch him so bad. Lawrence, what you think? Catch him? Yes or no? I don't want him to tinkle on me, though. I used to do that all the time. I think he hears me talking. He's just sitting still. He won't move. Y'all see that frog? That's the kind of stuff I used to do when I was little. I want to catch the frogs. I want to catch the bumblebees. I want to pick up the turtle and bring the turtle home. But don't let people bother you at the end of the day. And don't let people stress you out. You got enough things going on. And if you don't have anything going on, good. Enjoy that peace. Okay? Okay? And if you find yourself in a misery lounge, someplace where somebody is you just don't click with them, hey, grab your grip and go. G-Y-G-A-G, get up out of there. If they're in your place, your home, just like if they're in your home, they're in your platform, they're in your personal space, tell them to G-T-G-A-G. Grab their grip and go. Get up out of there. Put them out. You ain't got to put up with that. You don't have to put up with people. If you can't get along, move on. If you can't get along with people you don't know, move on. There's nothing to get straight. There's no need for straightening. If you can't get along, move on. Okay? Okay? You want peace, positivity, and prosperity. Right? Because without peace, we know what? There's chaos. Without positivity, negativity. Wherever there's chaos and negativity, there's the potential for you to fail to prosper to your fullest potential. Right? Wherever there's chaos and negativity, that leaves the potential for you to fail to prosper to your fullest potential. I want to prosper to my fullest potential. I want you guys to prosper to your fullest potential. So peace, positivity, and prosperity so that you can walk patiently and purposefully into your purpose. All right? Try not to take on any extra stuff that you don't even need to take on. Try not to take on the extra things that you don't need to take on. Whenever you come to an app, come to the app to try to have some fun, some pleasure. There's different things on the app, different niches. There's drama, there's tea, there's do-it-yourself channels, there are family channels, there are couples channels, there are car channels like Badass, he's into the cars. There's racing channels, there's auto body, mechanic. There's household channels, there are crafting channels, there are music channels. There's just a whole plethora of things. There's channels that do commentary, good commentary, trying to uplift people, or as adults should do. And then there's channels that do drama. We all like what we like. I like to watch a little drama sometimes as long as it's kind of dramatically funny, a little dramedy, but I don't like it when it's causing people mental distress, mental harm, because you never know where somebody is, okay? And when people don't know when somebody is, and God forbids they hear something that they don't want to hear, then it's not their fault, right? They was a grown adult. I didn't tell them to do this. I don't care if it was a child or an adult. If you've had a part to play dirty in somebody's space, that's not good. We're human. We've all done things we shouldn't do. But sometimes people do it actively, intentionally, and they continue to do it intentionally even at seasoned ages, right? So just try your best to be, not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But do unto others as you have them do unto you. Even if you haven't done that all your life. Again, nobody's perfect. With age should come wisdom. With age should come the want, the desire, and the need to do better. Still not be perfect, but to do better. So I'm going to get out of here, you guys. Lawrence says, I'm gonna have a wonderful evening. Thank you, Lawrence. I'm about to get out of here too. I'm about to go in the house, Lawrence. Everyone in the chat, until next time, thank you so much, bro, for coming over here. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And maybe I'll see you later. I don't know. Maybe I will. If I do, I will. If not, I'll talk to you the next time you stop by or when I do see you. Okay? Thank you to each and every one of you guys. And I'm about to get out of here. It's been an hour. That's enough. Thank you for those hearts. I appreciate you. Bye, y'all.